Hi guys, my name is Liz Wanji Kunjoroge. I am a marketer by profession. I have worked in entertainment and music for the last maybe 5-6 years. And I've touched on different things from event planning to artist management. I would say maybe in the last 8 years is when I've worked heavily with, if I talk about artists and influencers, or other people in the public space, or what we would all call celebrities. If you think about the history of how influencing started, right? Influencing was all about how do you bring a cultural icon into the sphere of, or how do you leverage people who have gained some form of traction and they've grown their social media footprint. How do you put them and culture and brands together? This is where influencing essentially originated from. And saying it's just about followers is a big misconception, because as time is passing, we're starting to see that a lot of influencers who have 1 million, 2 million, 3 million are not able to move the cultural needle specifically, right? Where we have situations that, yes, they can post, yes, they can, be on a brand campaign and so on and so forth. But for that relatability and authenticity that audiences are really looking for, that kind of influencer with that level of followers is not necessarily what many brands will go to. A lot of brands will turn to the micros, right? Because they then really shift and they have their finger on what culture is about. So, yeah, there was a time where numbers mattered, but in today's world, it's not the only thing that matters, right? So it's figuring out your combination of how to make your followers work, remain authentic with your audience, create culturally relevant content. And then we can talk about just having numbers. There's something that is becoming a bit more apparent, right? Where influencers are being demanded, or content creators are being demanded to learn how to tell stories, right? So if I go back into my advertising world, I wouldn't say we called it storytelling then, but it is what it's being called now, right? But when you worked on a campaign or a brand, you had to be able to kind of paint this picture, right? Where you get a brief and you have to describe what the objective of that brief is, and then get into what different solutions you'll come up with, whether it's a campaign, whether it's tactical, thematic, whatever it is, right? And then find the language to convey that communication, right? That formula has not really changed very much when it comes to the content world or the influencing world. Why? Because if you really think about it, a great content creator or influencer tells great stories. My intention is to share the knowledge that I have, the experience that I've built over the last couple of years, and what I'm still building. One of the things that I personally will delve into, that I've spent a few years building and doing research about, is brand archetypes, right? Brand archetypes are the same thing. It's just simply put personality traits, or unpacking what personality trait you have. And then once you're really able to unpack your personality trait, then you're really able to go into, oh, my name is Liz and I prefer color yellow versus color red. Why? Because red is more passionate, and passion is something that ignites how I see life and how I generally go about my business. And then so it makes connection easy, because you look for partners and brands or even other content creators that are aligned to what you as a person vibe to. When it comes to collaborations and partnerships, I think for a lot of people who know me, this is where I shine quite a bit. And the reason that I believe I do really well in this is because I spend time trying to, again, unpack both sides, right? brand synergy, brand energies are something that are very important for you to understand about a content creator or an influencer and whoever is coming into that partnership. Positioning is something a lot of people are still trying to figure out, right? Positioning always takes time, but you have to understand the part positioning plays in the general or rather in the larger scheme of why you're branding and how to brand. Anyone who wants to position themselves has to do the work in understanding the why, right? And kind of map out that journey that they're on. Luckily, with what we have in store, you're not going to go through that process alone, because our job is actually to help you unpack and really come out of the coursework with answers about where you want to take, whether it's your content, your influence, your music, your product to the next level. We all have to remember social media is a marketing tool, right? So you need to use it to market, 100% hands down. But then how do you grow your influence outside of this one platform? My best answer is I'm very old school. I still believe in the power of meeting and creating opportunities for your audiences, your fans, your people to meet and, you know, engage with you. Why? Because at the end of the day, if you start that habit where you fully directly engage with your audience, even if it's through social media, but you're very intentional about it, the day you say, I'm going to put out X and I'm going to invite people and I'm going to charge them 20K, they will show up because you've created a community. Another thing I would say is build long term. One of the courses that I keep talking about is really unpacking your archetype. Part of building long term is really unpacking who you are and really unpacking what you stand for. And then you're really able to plan for the future and put, you know, your puzzle pieces together and create this wonderful opportunity or life that you aspire to get to, right? So build long term. If it feels right, it looks good, right? If your core, you know, we always know when something is off, you know, instinctively. If it's not sitting well with you, if your gut is not telling you that it's not the thing, listen, pay attention. And sometimes it's a combination of listening to your audience and being true to yourself, because they are the first people who will check you on you being disingenuous. So stay true to who you are, stay on the path. It's not easy. And if it was, then many people would have done it, right?